Yo, what up? This is Mr. Royce from Royce Media coming at you guys with another live stream. How y'all doing today? Y'all good? Man, I'm kind of irritated, man. I've been having troubles with this OBS and this Facebook. They're real temperamental, man, and it's hard to get them to operate the same way on a consistent basis. You know, it's annoying. Other than that, man, I'm glad to be alive, man. I can't complain about that, you know. Can't complain about that at all. So it could be worse. My situation could be worse. Other than that, how y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? Y'all all right? Y'all good? I hope so. I hope so, man. Yesterday, man, I had a lot of people in the chat. I had a lot of people viewing it. Well, not a lot of people in the chat. I had a lot of people watching the live stream, and I appreciate that. It made me feel like I was actually doing something. Uh, yeah, it made me feel like I was actually doing something, man. So we'll see, man. We'll see if we can make the magic happen again today. This is Hump Day, so I know some of you all are gonna be humping on that relationship schedule. Yeah. You think I was gonna talk about that, did you? You didn't think I was gonna talk about that. Well, guess what? I am. I am. Oh well, it is what it is. Since I'm annoyed, I gotta pick on somebody else. So, you know, hey, yeah, man. I'm trying to get Facebook to let me log in, let me be great. Facebook is tripping right now. Uh, OBS was tripping earlier today too, man. I can't just all put it all on Facebook. OBS had its own uh, problems as well. My OBS kept shutting off. I don't know why. I had to log in. I had to try to come back on several times. So I was highly annoyed. So it is what it is. You know, I want y'all to see my beautiful face. I want to get on all these platforms I can. I got to make this happen. You know what I'm saying? So, whoa, looks like now we're on face. Looks like now, yeah, we're on Facebook. So now I'm about to babble, man, and I want to talk about the current events that's happening nowadays because I'm kind of looking at it from a different point of view. You know, I don't know if you all can hear me, but I'm seeing something, and maybe I'm reading into what I'm seeing, but I'm seeing big distractions. The whole Puffy case, that looks like a distraction. Even the situation with a lot of what's going on with Donald Trump, I think that's a distraction from what's really going to happen or what's, you know, not saying that these situations aren't real. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that these situations, they don't seem Well, they seem it seems like the news of what's going on is being manipulated to distract our attention to some stuff that's really important. And so I'm wondering, what is it that the elites, the people that actually have power, what are they trying to hide from us? You know what I'm saying? I think the attention is being focused on certain stuff so that we as a people can be distracted from some more nefarious stuff going on. I think one of the big things is about this hostile, uh, well, the situation with TikTok, for example. Yeah, TikTok is absolutely Chinese, a Chinese intelligence gathering tool. It absolutely is. And so, yeah, Congress needed to step in, do something about it, and they did. They stepped in and said, "We're going to ban TikTok until they sell it to somebody else." That's a setup for a play. I don't care what you say. It's a setup for a play. It's a setup for the okie doke. I don't care what you all are saying. I don't care what people would say outside of that. That's a move to kind of full Nelson Debo China out of using TikTok, out of having ownership of TikTok, and instead, you know, somebody from the empire having it. And when I say the empire, I'm talking the U.S. I'm talking uh the British Empire. I'm talking Australia. I'm talking the American Samoa. I'm talking anything within the realm of the British Empire and the more or less the EU, um, and the US is included in that. I think they're trying to strong arm their way into owning TikTok because it's powerful. It is a powerful mind control tool. With those short videos that automatically loop over and over the way it does, that's an indoctrination and training tool. Now, as you all know, I see things slightly different. Then I don't simply go by just what you know, uh, what Mama said was the right thing, or what the pastor said. I don't. Yeah, I tend to look past what these people are saying because they're just going to tell you something as simple as they can tell it to you, and be done. And oftentimes they will misdirect you as well, be it intentionally or unintentionally, because of their own motives and agendas. But um, I tend to look at things. I try to look at things past the obvious, and because I do that, I tend to automatically try to look at what's behind the curtain. And now sometimes it sets me up to be a contrarian, but a lot of times, most of the time, I actually catch what's behind the curtain, and I may not catch it fully, but I catch it enough to know that, hey, there's something else here. So that's how I see things. And with this situation, with with the election, with the Trump trials, with the Diddy situation, so forth and so on. What I'm seeing is one of the big things is I'm seeing a lot of money being deviated into places that we as the American people don't want. We as U.S. citizens, we are asking the question: hey, where's our tax money going? And we're getting a whole lot of, sleight of hand. We're getting the shell game, and we're getting, oh, look over here, Puffy is doing drugs and having sex with people, as if Amos people don't do that. Now, I mean, there's some other stuff I got to address with that, but not right now. You start asking questions. Why did we keep sending money over to this other these other two countries? Oh, look, so and so, we gonna make Donald Trump pay $152 million a bond, stuff like that. And it's like, I'm not asking about Donald Trump's money. I'm asking about, where's my tax money that you already took from me? Where's it going? So there's a whole lot of deep fakes going on in order to distract our attention away from stuff that should be important. Have you all noticed that the have you all noticed that all of the reparations talk, a lot of that is gone? Have you noticed that? Yeah. All that reparations talk, a lot of that stuff is gone. So looking at that, that's one of that's one of the things that I notice, that getting closer to the election, a lot of that talk is not, a lot of that talk's been suppressed because they don't want to talk about that. Just vote for us. And, you know, let's kick the can down the road. We don't want to talk about that now. The important thing is that you get us back in office and we can do what we do. Have you noticed Joe Biden hasn't said much of what he intends on doing in the next 4 years? Even when he had the State of the Union address, he didn't talk about much. He talked about, he threw up some flim flam of a lot of stuff that, if you did the research, you knew it was flim flam. And then, he didn't really talk about, hey, okay, this is, we're going to address stuff like infrastructure. We're going to we're going to reduce people's taxes and these interest rates and stuff like. He didn't talk about stuff like that. He didn't address the stuff that people who have to go out and make a living, or people who are living on retirement or disability or public assistance and stuff. He didn't talk about none of that. His big thing is the migrants, not protecting the border, not reinforcing the border, not uh, you know, not stuff like that that would be of concern, especially now. Uh, he didn't talk about that, and it's like funny. The biggest things that he did was hire a bunch of people who wear their sexual proclivities on their sleeves. You know, the thing is you got to make this guy talk. You got to make both of them talk. You got to make Donald Trump talk too, but Donald Trump has been more or less saying what he's going to do, and it all falls under the Build Back America thing. But you really don't get a clear picture of what Biden is intends on doing. You know, I mean, it could be because he don't have a clear picture himself in general, and he's just a figurehead. But um, you really don't get a clear picture, man. So looking at all of that, I think we're being distracted from some things that are more nefarious. I mean, you got this situation going on over in Israel with the Israelis and the Palestinians, which them people need to work out. That's a Hatfields versus the McCoy situation. For the people that are actually from those places, they are pretty much the same people are very close. It's like, I look at it as like Mexicans versus no Puerto Ricans versus Dominicans. Or you can even say Hondurans versus or Guatemalans versus Mexicans. Them are all the same people. you know, Nigerians versus Ghanaians. They're the same people. That it's all a Hatfield versus McCoy situation over there for the people that actually belong over there. And they need to figure that stuff out to where they can live together peaceably. You know, Either they figure out a state or a nation solution that'll work for both of them, or they'll have somebody like me come over there and go, none of y'all ain't getting shit. Nobody's getting shit. We're gonna turn this into Royce Bill. We're gonna turn this into Royce Mania. you know, so they need to figure that stuff out, and we need to scrutinize more what's being done with the money that's being sent over there. This whole Ukraine situation, Ukraine and Russia. You know, we need to have our people sit down with Putin and Zelensky and um, you know Biden and Harris and go, hey, listen, we need to figure y'all need to figure this mess out because um, we'll turn this into a problem for everybody. And I think that's the approach we have to take as a nation. Look, if y'all don't get y'all shit together, we're gonna start kicking everybody in the behind. I think we need to I think we need to come to that more. So I don't know. What do you all think, man? I'm having some trouble with my camera. But I'm gonna push forward and we're gonna rock out and see if we can do what we gotta do with this. You know. Do me a favor, as you come in, hit that like button and announce yourself in the chat because I like to communicate with people in the chat as I do these live streams. And if you're feeling really jazzy, if you're feeling really pumped up, drop a five in the Cash App or something, man. I'd appreciate it. Help me so I can get some better equipment. Man, oh my God, so I can upgrade my equipment or something. I don't know if it's the computer. I did, I just got this Joker. I haven't had it. Uh, will it be? Yeah, I think no, next month in April it'll be a year. So man, I don't know what's going on. Sometimes my mic don't work. Sometimes the computer don't work. Sometimes the MacBook don't work. Sometimes the software is tripping. It's always something. And so now I understand the need of having uh, engineers. I understand that need. So yeah. But anyway, what do y'all think, man? What do y'all think? All right, we got the brother Mike Reed. He out there watching in the crowd. Shout out to Mike Reed. I appreciate you. Anybody else out there watching in the clouds, man, do me a favor, hit the like button. You don't have to say nothing to hit the like button. So do that for me. You know. So yesterday, we were talking about the raid on Puffy's house. Um, this is The second raid that I know of, the FBI did the first one, and that was a few months back, and I covered that. And they did a raid again. Puffy didn't happen to be there. The kids that there were there, but he happened to not be there. Now, mind you, I think at least two of his kids are adults. So, it's not like we're looking at juvenile children that need to be that need to be that need some level of supervision. You know, as far as I know, his sons, his daughters, I don't know. I think he has four children in total. So I'm not real sure how that works out for him. But he wasn't there. The Department of Homeland Security went in and they pretty much were the tip of the spear for the search warrants, and they hit his house in Miami on Star Island and his house in Los Angeles. I can't think of the neighborhood of the one in Los Angeles. Now, for you people who think Puffy owns Star Island, that is not accurate information. Star Island was around before Puffy. It's called Star Island because a lot of stars live there, and you know, pre Puffy, and they'll be there post Puffy. Um, but it's a you know it's a high end area. It is an actual island and stuff off the coast of Miami. So you had that. Now, regarding Homeland Security, and I talked about this yesterday, with them doing the search warrants, it's got to be with um, it's got to be because of some international trafficking. Which even with that, I have questions because that's an FBI thing right there. Uh, so I'm wondering if um, that's really what it was, because if you're talking Department of Homeland Security, they they're kind of like Boy Scouts where they kind of do a little bit of everything. So I guess I can see them there, but and I guess because there are a bunch of different accusations made by Rodney Jones in his lawsuit, which uh, which I don't know how it turned from a civil suit, because what Rodney Jones filed was a civil suit. I don't know how that turned into FBI search warrants because, federal search warrants like from DHS and stuff, because it's almost, it doesn't make sense unless they're looking to charge uh Diddy for something criminal. You wouldn't have to have a search warrant for necessarily for civil matters, for a civil tort. You wouldn't necessarily have to have a search warrant for that. Now you can subpoena documents, you can file for Freedom of Information Acts, what do they call them? There's a name for them, well, Freedom of Information Act. You guys know where I'm going. It wouldn't be a warrant. A warrant denotes something criminal. And so they're looking for evidence of crimes. And there's been talk that they may be looking for evidence regarding some deaths which okay, all right, I can see that. Um, but then that would be the FBI, not necessarily Department of Homeland Security. They could be looking for evidence of fraud or money laundering or RICO charges. Again, that would be the FBI. The FBI, for those of you all who don't know, the FBI are primarily numbers guys. They are money chasers. Them in the Secret Service do a lot of money chasing. Secret Service more so counterfeit money and stuff is what they chase. FBI is they do a lot of forensic accounting, stuff like that. So if you have a business degree or an accounting degree, you are a young person or you are under 40, or really 38, and you are looking for a job, can't find a job nowhere else, go to the feds. Go to the feds, go to FBI, they're always looking for people with backgrounds like that. So, but everything that I could think of that a federal agency would be looking for, um, most of it points to the FBI, unless you're talking, okay, DEA for drugs, ATF for alcohol and firearms and stuff. It ain't like Puffy selling, cigarettes and stuff, But I don't, I, I I I really don't understand the ATF. I mean the DHS angle. I don't. I don't. So, but what I do think also this stuff is again it's a deep fake, because nobody was arrested. You know, they didn't find Puffy. They didn't say they found evidence of anything. It, I think it was a distraction. Ultimately, I think it was a distraction. I don't know. What do you all think? You know, I definitely think it was a distraction. Hold on, let me see something, man. Is you two tripping? Yeah, I think it was a distraction. Okay, I see what we got going on. Yeah. So, but looking at all of this, this is why I titled this particular live stream "Monkey Business Episode 2." I had a monkey business before, I believe. Either that or I just made the thumbnail and intended on, doing a thumbnail about monkey business. But, uh, looking at all of this stuff, man, I don't understand the involvement of federal agencies, to begin with, let alone uh, the DHS. Everything. Shout out to the homeboy, Angry Snowman. Angry Snowman read the the tort. He read the complaint, the civil complaint on his channel, as well as the lead attorney. Shout out to the lead attorney. They read the complaints and they went through. There is stuff in there that could warrant criminal charges, that could warrant the attention of alphabet agencies, not necessarily the Department of Homeland Security. I definitely saw stuff in there for the for the FBI. I definitely saw stuff in there for the DEA, for ATF. Um, hell, there's probably something in there for the USDA too. But I didn't. I did really didn't see the DHS angle. And now I've worked with DHS before on certain stuff, and what we were doing when I worked with them, it was like stuff like with ICE. They were there. Uh, it was us and ICE and DHS. And so I understand, with the human trafficking or looking for, you know, stuff with terrorism, different things like that. I get it. I get it if that's what it was. Unless Puffy was like, yeah, I got rocket launches and many nuclear reactors, I got lithium and hydrogen and okay, then yeah, DHS. But I don't understand. And this stuff, it was just basically he was just doing stuff rich pricks do. And looking at And we haven't heard anything about complaints being lodged by the Fed. So we don't know if, okay, yeah, we're going after him for this and this and this. All we know is that as a civil attorney is trying to sue for basically, this is a uh, quid pro quo, hostile working environment lawsuit along with uh, fraud and stuff like that, um, it's a RICO case for sure. Criminally, it could be a RICO case, but you don't see any criminal charges from the local agencies for some of the complaints, because in Florida, um, engaging in commercialized sex is a crime. Uh, you know, narcotics possession are crimes, different things like that. But there are no crimes being alleged. This is all civil stuff. So I don't understand, law enforcement, which DHS would be, and the other alphabet agencies, they enforce laws. And so I don't understand why they are doing search warrants. If somebody knows the answer, do me a favor, do not be afraid and put your opinions why the Department of Homeland Security would be involved. Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Y'all let me know what you all think. So let me help me understand. Because right now I don't. I don't understand. You know. So I'm not. I'm not getting it. So, yeah. But Puffy said some stuff that was interesting to me. He said it is alleged that he told Rodney Jones, Little Rod, which that name is pause worthy. you know, he told Little Rod that he had the police in Los Angeles and Miami under control. And it's like, really? You got the police under control? Oh, okay. All right. Now we got to take a closer look at these police departments and the leadership. This is the problem with a lot of these complaints about the police. Sometimes sometimes you can't go top down. Sometimes you got to go bottom up. You got to find out what kind of environment that the police chief and the administration, what are they doing to that fosters certain behaviors to take place in their departments or certain activities to take place. That's the thing I think a lot of people miss. They you get so caught up with the that's a bad street cop. Nobody takes a look at who is running that department, and nobody is giving them nobody's putting eyes on what kind of environment it is that these people are fostering, man. So, for Puffy to, Diddy, Puffy, whatever you want to call him. Ooh, sorry about that echo. Um, Puffy obviously he's a billionaire. Okay, we know of him as a billionaire. Okay, cool. An issue is especially in a place like Florida. I don't know about California, but I imagine California would be the same or even worse. In a place like Florida, they get real nosy into your background for you to become a police officer. The app to apply to be a police officer in Florida, the applications are very invasive. They want to know all kinds of stuff. They want to pull your medical records. They want your dental records. They want to know what you did in the third grade. It's a bunch of bullshit. They want to know a bunch of bullshit about you for a job that starts off at roughly $52,000 a year. Then you got to go through, after you do your background, you got to go through a site. You got to go through polygraph and stuff, all of that good stuff, just to make $50,000 a year. In one of the most liable jobs on the planet. you know, uh, you are a lawsuit target. You got to go through all of that and stuff. You go through all of that, but you still have an air of corruption. You still have people that went through all of that are still corruptible. So stuff got to be looked at. Now they don't pay much in Florida, but they pay quite a bit in Los Angeles. So you can't say, well, it's because they don't make enough. Pay is relative. Your annual income is relative. That's a subjective thing. What I don't understand is, for all of this stuff that you got to go through to become a police officer, why is it that Puffy can come through and still find the corrupt officers and you know get them on board with his agenda? That's what I don't understand. And so I'm like, that's got something to do with the people at the top. That's not really people at the bottom, because nobody cares about the average. uh Nobody cares. Those people don't care. People like Puffy and them, they don't care about the average beat cop, because they want to know who the beat cop's boss is. They want to know who, if Billy the beat cop stops him, they want to know who's the highest person they can corrupt in the chain of command that can tell Billy, hey, get your ass off that car and go stop some nobodies. That's what they want to know. And see, and this is the part of what we call police corruption that is not addressed. They talk about police when they generally talk about police corruption and brutality and stuff. They talk about the beat cops who are out there actually having to fight wars and actually having to go to work under stressful conditions and different things like that. They're not talking about that guy who's that lieutenant or that commander that's sitting in the office and wearing suits and lollygagging with politicians, and I'm Bob, I got a suit and a pistol. They're not talking about that guy, when that's the most corrupt, vile person in that department, because that's the person that you want to kind of get to call off Billy the beat cop. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about that. You don't want, it does you no good if you are a person of great means and influence, if you are a criminal running an organized crime organization, if you are uh, a you know, if you're involved with some nefarious stuff, you don't want to talk to the beat cop. It does you no good to have the beat cop in your pocket. You need to have his boss's boss in your pocket. And nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about that. When that guy brought that up in the suits, I said, okay, yeah, now these people that run the offices, professional review, these people that look at what the beat cops are doing, he called them out because it is their people that say, yeah, hey, don't investigate that stuff right there, or that this investigation is over. It's those people. It's the people that can, he doesn't want, he wants to be able to have the Fannie Wades in his pocket. He don't give a shit about, some ticket pusher. you know? So, I mean, think about it, man. When you talk police corruption, it's not the beat cop, it's his commander. It's the deputy chief, it's the chief of police. You know, it's it's that citizen administrator, you know, uh, who talks directly to the politician. That's who you want. That's who Puffy has in his pockets. That's who this guy was alleging Puffy has in his pockets, really. And I said, yeah, these big wigs in these places, they better be getting real nervous because it's people like me who know what the problem is. We're going to say, oh, let's find out who their bosses are. Let's find out what time this incident happened, who showed up. Let's find out who their bosses were. And now let's find out who their bosses know. Let's find out where their bosses hang out. Let's find out who their bosses are married to. Let's find out their family's fat last names and stuff. I keep telling you all of this stuff is much deeper than what you all think it is, and it's a lot of family connections, it's a lot of networks. So, and this is why I tell police officers that degree don't do shit. That degree does not help you on the street. That degree does not help you get promoted. It is your network. It is your ability to get to know people. It is your ability to be able to tailor your message to the audience. It's your ability to be able to interact with people, come up with resolutions, and network. It's all network. There's no college degree ain't gonna help you. I know Dr. Cops with PhDs, worst cops in the world. Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Every cop I know with a PhD is a trash bag police officer. Every cop I know with a 4-year degree is looking at that 4-year degree like I wasted 2 years in college for this, because guess what? They got a chief of police that might have a 2-year degree and might not have a degree at all. But it's where he lives, and it's what his last name is, it's who he's married to, it's all of that stuff, and that's also where that corruption comes in too, you know. So that's that's the behind the curtain and looking at that complaint. I mean, the obvious stuff, like, yeah, Puffy was trying to, you know he had people walking around with his drugs, and he was drugging people, and having, sleeping with underage girls, and and trying to have same sexual activity with the guy. None of that is shocking. None of that is unusual for the entertainment type. It happens with people in the entertainment business, be it entertainment for the radio, entertainment for the screen. It's a bunch of weirdos out there. It's more of them out there than you all realize. And I speak from a place of a person who has done bodyguard work, before, and someone who is familiar with uh the rap industry in the 90s and the fight game and stuff. Someone who is familiar with certain stuff. I'm telling you that Puffy is not unusual. A lot of your famous people, a lot of your entertainers and stuff are weird like that, and have a bit of deviancy. Um, so that's not weird. I don't even get outraged with stuff like that in itself. But my thing is, oh, okay, that's the case. Let's look deeper into these people that are either being utilized or providing cover for the antics and shenanigans of a Diddy, you know. And this even goes to why he was able to not be around for these searches by DHS. Somebody had to tip him off. Somebody had to let him know, hey man, them people coming for you today. You need to, or they come. If he's really good, they let him know, 3-4 days in advance. Hey, them people are looking to come get you in a few days. They're gonna be looking for you. They're gonna be looking for stuff. So you might want to clean up. You might want to, have an appointment somewhere else, so forth and so on. I'm sure that this is what happened. Knowing that this is likely what happened, I want to know who these people are and why, how, and why was it, and how Puffy was able to put these people into his pocket. See, this is the stuff I look at. What's the play behind the play? What do y'all think? What do y'all think, man? Do y'all even understand what I'm saying? I want to look at how deep the gangrene goes. I want to look. I want to know why it happened, when it happened, and how deep it goes. You know, because you best believe, these are people. They are charged with enforcing the law. They're charged with, maintaining public order and different things like that. And make no mistake, certain deals have to be cut with criminal organizations and the criminal element to keep a certain amount of peace. It happens. Don't think that it doesn't. Why do you all think weed is legal in a lot of places? You know, certain things like that. There's a certain amount of vice and crime that is allowed to go on for certain reasons. It might be an economic reason other than putting money in the pockets of the people who allow it. It might be because that funds the economy. It's a certain percentage of the overall economy. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying. Certain stuff is allowed to happen because it funds the overall economy. Look at how Miami was built. Miami was built. Watch Cocaine Cowboys. If you have not watched Cocaine Cowboys, watch Cocaine Cowboys and learn how Miami was built. Yeah, Miami was built off coke money. That Miami you see now, stuff's all beautiful and stuff. Back in the 80s and the 90s, really from the 70s to the early 2000s, that was built off the back of coke money. That's because of coke money. Watch Cocaine Cowboys. And that's not the only place. That's not the only place. You know, in fact, I would say it's probably one of the newest places. But a certain amount of criminality is allowed in order to supplement the overall economy or to keep certain peace. Um, when I worked in corrections back in the day, a lot of times certain things would be allowed to keep um the criminals from riding into jail, because what you have happen, um if you have one officer to every 50 inmates, if they decide to move on that inmate, you got a dead officer. Now imagine if you got 30 officers in a building, and all of them have 50 inmates, and all 50 of them and all those inmates, you're talking 50 times 30, shit, you're dealing with 350 inmates pretty much. uh you you're gonna have some dead people. Those inmates have the numbers, and so in order to keep the peace, certain stuff has got to be tolerated. You know, I'm sure my math is wrong, but because it's thinking about it, it would be far more inmates than that. It'd be far more. I'm thinking more like uh anyway. I am not one for doing math in my head. I can do it on paper. I can't do it in my head. I ain't that visual like that. But what I do know is that certain stuff has to be allowed, because number one, those inmates are going to be more organized, more active in that environment. That is their environment. They know it. The law enforcers come in, but they're rotated out on schedules, different stuff. They need to be changed out altogether, different things like that. There are certain things that have to be done that have to be conceded by the authorities in order to keep a level of peace. And what may be conceded may be quasi criminal or outright criminal. But what has to happen is that, certain stuff has to be decriminalized in those environments. And this happens in the greater environment as well, in order to keep some type of order, be it economic order, be it social order, be it you know, infrastructure order, in order to maintain, in the effort to maintain order, certain things have to be conceded with the criminal element or the enemy. And that's all a matter of who the leadership you is in those positions. And this is where it comes in with guys like Puffy and stuff. You know, when you have people with a lot of influence for whatever reason, a lot of money, a lot of influence, um, you know, they have meetings, or they have people that have meetings, and agendas are laid out, and certain agreements are made. Hey, okay, we're not going to go over here and bother you guys while you're over here doing this and stuff, and just don't you know don't set the place on fire, something like that. And the people like Puffy walk away with the confidence of knowing, hey, I got these people in my pocket. I have a certain amount of control and influence with these people, which is why he could, allegedly tell Rodney Jones, yeah, I got the police in my pocket, and yeah, and they're not gonna do nothing, and I was able to do skippity woo woo woo. And you see how that turned out, because I'm still out here in the world, and that's like, okay. That makes me go, hey, okay, let me start looking closer into that leadership is, you know. So yeah, yeah. So monkey business. It's like I said before, it's monkey business. You know, what do y'all think, man? What do y'all think? You know, I tell you, man, I keep saying this, and I was one of the first people to say this. Make no mistake, this is the 2024 is going to be the year of uh stuff being exposed and stuff being revealed. It's going to be year of the uncovering of truth. Everybody's going to be able to look behind the curtain to some extent. Right now, something's going on where we are not being where the stuff is trying to be hid from us. The powers that be, the elites, whatever you want to call them, they're trying to hide certain stuff from us, but for some reason it's being revealed. For some reason it's being, and it's going to continue to be that way this year. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't ramp up, you know. And so that being the case, that being the case, what do you all think? What is it that's going to be revealed soon that's going to be like a doozy? You know, I mean, one of the big things is they're finding out all of these people that took the jab and stuff are having heart problems and brain problems and stuff like that. And I'll tell you, I've seen several situations in my life, including in my family, where people took the jab and they developed conditions that were unusual for their family or unusual for their health and stuff. Hold on. Hold on. Hey, let me go answer this door. Find out. These dogs are barking at. Hey. All right, I'm back. Can you hear me? You guys hear me? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. So, yeah, man, a lot of stuff is being hid. Um, they're attempting to hide a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff is going to be revealed. I think we're going to see some doozies. Um, and I think one of those things, I was talking about COVID before I had to go answer the door. It was basically the lawn care guy. But um, I've seen a lot of people get sick after taking their vaccine. You know, a lot of people had a lot of different health issues, man. From like I was saying before, heart problems, brain problems, stuff like osteo orthopedic problems, all kinds of stuff after taking that vaccine, man. And it's like you know, it's coming out more and more, but they'll put it out real quick, and then they'll pile a whole bunch of bullshit over it, so that the public don't really, so that it doesn't have time to sink into the public, hey, something is wrong. So uh yes, last night Brother RZA was on the Corey Holcomb show. Shout out to Corey Holcomb, Chicago guy. uh you know, shout out to Brother RZA. Even though we see some things differently, because we come from different dojos, different schools of thought. We see certain things the same. And what he was talking about with the USDA, and what he was talking about, it was the FDA, and what he was talking about with the COVID stuff, we definitely on the same page with what's being revealed about uh, the whole COVID situation, and the treatments. And you know, man, I agree with him 100%, you know. So um but man, the you know, the information was revealed. They tried to, you know, put a whole, they tried to put a whole, they tried to hide it. They, you know, they murked up, oh, Puffy out there, you know, giving people pills, and you know, and his madam just tricked on him. Yeah, that's what I just said. His madam, Cassie, was a madam. Don't get it twisted. When you see it enough times, you always know what it is when you see it. You know, Cassie got some explaining to do. And for those of you all who don't understand, uh, you can't put two and two together. But yeah, I know a madam when I see one. Shout out to DJ Cuda, because he know a madam when he see one too. You know, same thing with Drea Kelly. You know, we know a madam when we see one. You know, but yeah, you know, getting back to, you know, the stuff that was coming out about the vaccine, and the treatment, and even about the illness itself. It's like, okay, you know, the powers that be are like, we got to fix this before people start asking more questions. And so they go, oh, look over there, Puffy, you got, you know, him and Cuba Gooding Jr., you know, rubbing guys on the buttocks. so, so that's what you, that's what's happening. So I'm saying all of this to say, hey, don't get too distracted. Don't get caught in the weeds of the BS, because there's some real stuff that's going to affect each and every one of our lives directly, that we got to deal with. Like, yeah, I know I got to lose this weight. I'm fatter than a motherfucker right now. Oh, excuse my language. I'm super fat. I got to lose weight. I know what my issue is, and I'm working on it right now as we speak. You know, I got other stuff that, you know, I'm doing to get ready, because some stuff is about to happen, you know, as I mentioned with the TikTok, because that's going to become a whole censorship and Patriot Act type thing. You know, there's some big changes coming with stuff like that. That's going to impact you and everybody else. There's some other stuff that is going to directly impact the lives of all U.S. citizens, and it doesn't matter your race, creed, or sexual preference. You know, your ethnic group, or none of that. There's some stuff that's going to happen that is going to have a deep impact on all of us, and we need to be ready. And that's why I keep talking. I keep telling you guys, you know, I about this Russia situation and what China is doing. I talked about yesterday what China is doing and why it's doing it. You know, and what you all are not realizing is that uh there is a globalist agenda, and this agenda is leading is trying to lead the world in a direction that's going to deal with uh beings from other worlds. So it sounds crazy, but the proof is out there that we are not alone in the universe, that our planet is has been visited and is being visited by others. You can call me crazy, but the truth is getting harder and harder to ignore. You can't just brush it aside and say, "Ah, no, Mr. Royce, what are you talking about? He's getting weird." There is a lot of stuff happening that before you couldn't explain. The pieces of information are now they're all falling into place, and that's stuff we're gonna talk about. That is stuff we're gonna talk about. And then you guys get to actually know me a little bit better, and understand the nuance and how I see things. Like, and and the kind of, if it's stuff you rock with, cool. If it's stuff you don't rock with, then it's stuff you can ask me questions about. You know, like the whole extraterrestrial thing. That I believe. My thing on. My beliefs on. The existence of magic and spells and witchcraft and sorcery and stuff, and how to look at it in modern terms, because all of this stuff is happening around you and there are scientific explanations for it. Not saying that, oh no, you can't dismiss it as, not saying that you don't have to believe it because of science. All I'm saying is that there are scientific explanations. Science is basically the knowledge of what you see in front of you. Now you can explain it and articulate it, and have a hypothesis. You can test the data against, so forth and so on. When you don't understand how it happened, it's magic. When you do understand how it happens, it's technology. Some of you all will get what I'm saying. Some of you all are still, no, some of you all won't. Cool. I get it, but it is what it is. When you don't understand it, it's magic. When you do understand it, it's technology and science. You know, uh, that's it, it's all it is being able to understand information, read recipes. All a recipe is a formula. So being able to understand formulas, different things like that. Once things are pointed out to a lot of people and put into practical terms, then they go, oh, okay, I see what you mean. Like the whole thing with gods versus God. A lot of people, there's only one God. That's a lie. Your Bible is your religious books tell you there's a bunch of different gods. They just call them false gods, but it's still a God, small g. Then there's a God above all. There's next the true God. Your religious book says that. I'm going to, explain to you guys these old gods and how they have become new gods, and how there are new gods that are right in front of your face that you don't realize are there. I'll break down other stuff like, for you people who believe in the Christ and the Antichrist, I'll give some context to that and give you my opinions on that and the whys about that. You guys deal with it from there. So, you know, But yeah, it's all in the effort of trying to look behind the veil, you know. So, information is information. It's just information. What you do with it, that's another story. Anyway, this is Mr. Royce, Royce Media. I'm going to end this live stream here. Do me a favor on your way out, hit the like buttons or hit the dislike button. Hit one of them buttons. I appreciate you guys for being here. Shout out to the Cloud Gang. And I'm going to get on out